Hey everyone, it's Lee with Mantis Mechanics, and today I'm actually a little bummed. Stay tuned to find out why. So early today, I had my first sparring session in a long time. It's been about 4 months since I've been able to spar. And we started off touch gloves. We told each other we were going to go nice and light. And about 20 seconds into the sparring match, I threw a straight right that broke my partner's nose. And I feel really bad about that. And the reason why I'm bummed about it is because, of course, because I hurt my partner, but also it shows that I'm getting worse, that I've gotten worse in these 4 months. Now let me explain that. So when I tell my friends that don't do martial arts what happened, they go, "Oh, you still got it, Lee. You must still have it. You still got your injury in your fighting days. You're not getting old. You still got it, whatever." And that's actually not true. Being able to break somebody's nose is not really what I call the mark of skill. I wouldn't say like, "Oh, I can break somebody's nose. That's a great thing." It's actually the opposite. What happened is I was not able to control the situation. Now, in a normal sparring situation, if I throw that right hand and I see I'm going to land flush and possibly injure my partner or my opponent or my sparring partner, I should be able to pull that punch in time that doesn't do that damage, that type of damage. Shouldn't break his nose. So now I have a partner who can't spar for 8 weeks. So I lose all this practice time that I would have had. I don't have that opportunity to practice and spar with him anymore for at least 8 weeks. And that's bad for me. This is why it's important in sparring not to try to win sparring matches. Not saying that I was trying to win. I wasn't. I just was rusty and I didn't pull the punch when I should have. I threw it and I was kind of surprised that it hit him, and I realized the rust of not doing anything for 4 months had set in and I wasn't able to pull that punch. And that's the mark of true skill. That's why to me, it's much more dangerous to spar with somebody who's athletic, big, and powerful, but not very experienced, than it is to spar with somebody who's big and powerful, but they have tons of experience. Because that person that is very experienced can pull the punches and they know not to hurt you, right? Sparring shouldn't be about winning. You're not trying to win the sparring experience. Sparring is about learning. It's about getting better. So you should have the freedom and the knowledge to know, hey, my partner's not going to hurt me. My partner's not going to try to hurt me. And I'm not going to try to hurt them, but I'm going to work on things. Like maybe I'm working on my blocking. Maybe I'm working on my defense. Maybe I'm working on my head movement. Maybe I'm working on footwork. Maybe I'm working on setting up a certain technique, a certain attack, right? And I want them to have those same opportunities without the fear that they're going to get hurt in a sparring match. So, this is something that I really didn't realize until I actually went to Thailand and sparred with those people. I sparred in Thailand, did a private lesson, and I sparred with the coach. I noticed we were going really light, and I noticed that everybody in the gym was really light. So I asked about it, and he goes, "Oh, you hit the pads hard, hit the bags hard, spar light to get your timing, and then you fight hard." And this makes a lot of sense to me. Like all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I've been doing it wrong for all this time. I thought, sparring, kind of like you have to grit your teeth, you clench your fist, bite down on your mouthpiece and go to war, right? I mean, maybe you're not going as hard as you can in sparring. Obviously there would be too many injuries there, but I always wanted to get the better of the exchanges in sparring. And I never thought about it as, hey, I'm just working on certain things. I never really thought about it that way. I thought about it as, hey, I've got to win this win this sparring competition or the sparring match, not competition. I have to win this sparring match, or I have to inflict my will on this person. I no longer think that way. That is not the right way to spar. That's how people get hurt. That's how nobody gets better. You just end up getting better at beating each other up, but it doesn't necessarily translate to a better fighter. right? So what you're really trying to do is practice your techniques in the sparring, practice your setups, practice your defense, get better at that stuff, and then be able to take that into a sports competition, or if you're going for a street fight, and be able to have the calmness of mind in that street fight atmosphere, right? Because what you don't want to happen is you never practice these techniques and then you try them out of desperation. This is a big thing I see with beginners, especially when you see amateurs fight for the first time in the ring. It usually just turns into like a slugging match, right? And you can watch them on the pads and their technique looks really good. And even when I was coming up, we always had a saying, everybody looks good on the pads, because some guys would look like killers on the pads, and then when they got in the ring, they're swinging wild and they're just brawling. And that's not what martial arts is supposed to be. You're not supposed to be brawling in there. You're supposed to be using the technique. The technique works better than the brawling. It's just when you get nervous, when you get fearful, you resort back to that. And I'm bummed out because it means that in 4 months, I've lost that skill to truly control myself. So I got to get back and work on that again, work on my control so that I don't injure somebody else, because I would be very upset if I got injured as well and I was not able to practice for 8 weeks. So to that person, I say, I'm sorry. It was a mistake, and that is not the way that you should be sparring. Let me know what you think in the comments below. We'll see you next time here on Mantis Mechanics.